and welcome to today's video. I am sat here in my student occupational therapy tunic. The board over there says occupational therapy Q&A, so I guess that's what we're doing today. So everybody always asks, so what are you studying at university? And when I say occupational therapy, the amount of people that go, what is that? Or just look at you blankly or nod but don't actually know is ridiculous. And so many people do that I thought I would ask my friends what they knew / what they wanted to know from me about occupational therapy. So before we get started though, this is not academic in any way, shape or form. So if you're here looking for references like Wilcock or Who, I'm afraid you're in the wrong place. Go and find another video or just watch all the way through and learn a bit more about occupational therapy yourself. So this is an overview, this is my sort of opinion, I guess is what you could say. It's by no means, shape or form the right sort of answers to these questions, but I'm trying my best here to answer them. And of course this role changes, so if you're a paediatric OT, so working with children, the role that you will do is much different to those that work in wheelchair services or even work with the elderly. So it all changes, but this is sort of like generic answers as best as I can do. So let's jump in to the perspective of OT from a student like myself. So question number one received from my friends is, what is OT in 3 words? So I've said independence, meaningful and occupational. So what do they mean? Well, independent because sort of the aim is to get people as independent as possible. That's sort of the role, and to return them to their baseline or to sort of their home environment. Meaningful because generally it's got to be something that's important to people, you know, or at least something they enjoy or want to do or need to do for their daily living. And occupation centered because it's all about your role as a person and what you do. And when I say occupation, I don't mean your job, I mean occupations. So that can be anything from going to school, brushing your teeth, cooking, cleaning, to mountain biking and, I don't know, archery. So it's completely different from your job. That is a part of it, but it's not the main part. The COT, actually, RCOT, Royal College of Occupational Therapy, describe it as helping people to live and not just exist, improving lives and saving NHS money. Question number 2 is, what do you study? So I took this as sort of, how long do you study for, where do you study, things like that. So I study in York. It's my UK course is 3 years long, in which I do 1,000 hours of placement, and we learn about evidence-based practice, which means sort of evidence like articles or books or any academic reference basically, to support the decisions we make as practitioners. We also do what is occupation, so learning about the range of occupations. We also do OT science, which occupational science. We learn about different conditions, so like loads of mental health conditions, physical conditions, MS, Parkinson's, things like that, falls. We learn about clinical reasoning, and we sort of get to grips with that, so your clinical judgment as to why you've chosen to do what you've done with a patient. And of course there's all the stuff from like the NICE guidelines, the HPCP, the COT, about being a reflective practitioner. Oh boy, good reflections. So question number 3 is, my friend asked me, do you have to have a degree? Yes, you currently have to have a degree to be a Band 5 occupational therapist. Band 5 is sort of like you've just graduated, it then goes up to like Band 6, 7, 8 and whatnot. You can sort of just about do an apprenticeship. I believe it was being trialled, but to actually do the job of an OT you have to have a degree. Somebody asked me, what are the pros and cons of your degree? Well, the answer to that is that I love placement and learning about the job, but I absolutely hate doing essays. I think that's set for everybody, right? So the next question was, to study OT, what do you need? So you need, do you need more than qualifications? Well, you have to have A-levels, I'm pretty sure of that. Or some other similar qualification like that. But you also need experience, and you need to be the right person. Not anybody can be a nurse or an OT or a surgeon or any other job like that. You have to, there's something about you. You know, if you couldn't deal with blood or things like that, you wouldn't be a nurse. And if you couldn't deal with the way that we sort of help patients, then you can't really be an OT. So it's kind of, it's a personal trait. Okay, so the next question is, do you only work with older people? Well, I've kind of already answered that, but no, you work with all ages from like the grave to cradle to the grave. So like as soon as you're born to the moment that you die. You work with loads of different people, mainly older people, but you can work with like children, servicemen, or anybody that's had like an amputation, people with learning disabilities, mental health, physical disabilities, men, women, or everybody basically, any age, not just older people. Next question is, what sort of things do you tend to do? Okay, so this mainly depends on the condition, whether it's what assessments that you do, but whether it's like a cognitive assessment, so like this is called a MOCA assessment, stands for Montreal Cognitive Assessment. This assesses sort of your cognition and things like that. You can search it online, and whilst it looks very simple and basic and easy, asking somebody to do this if they've got sort of a cognitive disability is quite difficult. Other things include a lot of like goal setting. So like this is just an example of a stroke goal setting sheet. So we do like long-term, short-term goals to help people regain like their independence. So we do lots of stuff like wheelchair assessments, home visit equipment, handing out things like commodes, picture here, like, I don't know, stair lifts, bed raisers, or wheelchairs, or grab rails, or anything like that, like different cutlery to like kitchen aids. So absolutely loads of different things that we can use. We use like splinting, so this is an example of a splint. On a pinch punch video for November, you can see me making one. So this is mine. This is like a splint that you'd wear to stabilize your thumb, so you can't do that. Like, I can move that bit but not that bit, so that stabilizes your MCP joints. So loads of different things. We use like tools as well, like this, like an emoji desktop. This can be bought from like WH Smith's, but genuinely like can help somebody if they can't talk. It may be like genuinely used with like speech and language therapists, SALTs, but this can also be used in sort of like communicating with different people to establish sort of what they're talking about, things like that. So this is definitely, you know, just because it's OT doesn't mean that you can't use like other things in like life. So it's not all paperwork based, it's not all practical based, it's kind of a mixture of the two. That's it. That's all that I can think about. That's all of my knowledge that I can think / any questions. If you guys have more questions, feel free to comment them in the comment box below, leave a comment, and I will answer them as best as I can. You know, if you're just genuinely interested about what OT is, I hope you've gained some internal knowledge of this. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Bye guys, TTFN.